don't forget to like and subscribe. Welcome to Manage It Monday, your midday motivation to optimize your food safety strategies and elevate your business operations with Rochelle Howell. Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to Manage It Monday, food safety strategies for success. I'm your food safety and business coach, Rochelle Howell, and I am so glad you've joined me to kick off another week with purpose and focus. If you're here, you already know how important food safety is, not just for passing inspections, but for building a strong foundation for your business. Mondays can feel overwhelming, we know, but they're also the perfect day to manage what matters most. Today, we're talking about food safety red flags. What you don't know can hurt you. Now, I know from experience that starting or growing a food business is exciting, but it's also easy to overlook the small things, things that can quickly spiral into big problems if you're not paying attention. I'm talking red flags like failing to think through your processes and choosing a space that's the wrong size. So today we'll explore what these red flags look like and how to avoid them. I'll take you back to when I was a health inspector and tell you what happens when red flags are ignored. There was a restaurant that gained national fame from a TV show. They had incredible success and decided to expand by opening smaller drive through style locations. I felt like they were testing a franchise model or something. Anyway, on paper, it seemed like a smart move. They planned to streamline their menu, reduce cost, and reach a different type of customer base. But from the moment I stepped into their first drive through location for the pre opening inspection, there were serious red flags. Now, although they cut down the options, their food prep method was just as complex as the other locations. They were considered a high risk restaurant, also known as a level 3. They cooked large quantities in advance. They cooled them and either stored them for the next day or kept them hot for extended periods. This required ample cooling racks, storage space, and equipment to reheat food safely. The drive through location was an old chicken joint with a tiny kitchen and an adequate space for this type of operation. Their processes required them to juggle raw ingredients, cooling cooked foods, and preparing fresh meals all in one limited space. Now, I brought this up. I brought these concerns and I asked them about their written food safety procedures. Something that explained how to properly cool, reheat, and cook to their employees. Anything. And their response was, oh, don't worry. We have everything under control. Our written procedures are at the other location. They even had a business consultant assisting them. But he was a financial expert. He was not a food safety expert. And so they told me what they thought I wanted to hear as an inspector. And I explained that handling money and food safety are two totally different things. But of course, they assured me they had a plan. But what I saw was a space and size mismatch. The kitchen was simply too small for their processes. They lacked the space to store separate raw and ready to eat food. They lacked the space to properly cool down food without overcrowding the walk in freezer, which would cause other foods that are in there to thaw. They were not going to be able to keep hot foods for long periods without dropping into the temperature danger zone. I told them straight up, if you try to cool, store, and reheat food here the way you do at the other locations, you're going to run into serious food safety issues. So, despite my warnings, they opened with their original plans, didn't make any changes. Fast forward just 2 weeks later, like 2 weeks after opening, the complaints started rolling into the health department. Customers were getting sick. I was called back to investigate, and what I found confirmed everything I had predicted. They had a workflow disaster. The space and process wasn't just inefficient, it was a potential foodborne illness outbreak ready to happen. Like food had to be moved multiple times, increasing the risk of cross contamination. Their prep areas were overcrowded with hotel pans of food left sitting in the temperature danger zone, and the chef was constantly cooking. And they had no overnight shift to separate that preparation of raw food from the cooked food in the daytime. There wasn't enough hot holding equipment, so food either sat on that buffet station or it was just stacked up on the counter waiting to be reheated. And then the freezer was overloaded. Of course, the food was warm and it was thawing out, and that impacted the cooling process of the food as well. Food was being reheated without the proper temperature checks. There were no records to prove it had ever been cooled or heated safely. And then to top it all off, there was no hand soap in the hand washing station. Now, this was a basic but critical violation. Now, I couldn't say definitively that they made people sick, but their unsafe food handling practices were clear contributors. And proper cooling and reheating, and proper hot holding, lack of records to prove temperature control, basic hygiene violations, all of these were preventable. They had been warned, they had been coached, and they ignored it. And now people were complaining of getting sick. All predictable, all preventable. Many customers call the health department and they also complain, and others file lawsuits. They do it all over the place. So, my question is, what do you think? Do you think the restaurant has some type of fault? Should they have followed some basic food safety protocols or some documents where they have fought for the people getting sick? What do you think? Do you think that they should pay? And then how much should they pay? Like if the customers went and they were confirmed foodborne illnesses that were potentially linked to that place, should they have to pay for some damages or hospital bills? And then could this put them out of business? If they had fines or these lawsuits, the reputation, like will they ever be able to recover? And not could they, but should they go out of business? Guess what? Eventually they did, and in less than a year. And it was because their strategy and processes were not aligned. Now, this happens all the time, and I hate to admit it, but I want everyone to succeed. So here's what you can learn from that restaurant: spot the red flags before it's too late. Ignoring red flags doesn't make them disappear, it just increases the risk. So, this is how you manage it. Think through your process. Your process is the backbone of your operation. If you don't plan how food moves from prep to service, you're setting yourself up for failure. Cooling, reheating, and hot holding require specific systems, equipment, and space. Food safety requires expertise. A financial consultant can't fix food safety problems, so find someone qualified. Number two, be mindful of the right space and size. Your kitchen setup must match your food processes. If the space is too small, you must adapt your workflow. A cramped kitchen is a safety hazard. Overcrowded prep areas lead to food sitting in the temperature danger zone and accidents. Underestimating space needs leads to improper storage, cross contamination risk, and cooling failures. Number three, prioritize your workflow and your paperwork. A disorganized kitchen creates inefficiencies and increases contamination risk. Design your layout with ease in mind. Staff should be able to move without tripping over each other or without crossing raw food into the ready to eat areas and back and forth. Food safety records protect your business. If something goes wrong, those temperature logs, hand washing records, or any other logs could be your only defense in court. And now, finally, plan for growth without sacrificing safety. Growth is exciting, but only if it's sustainable. Rushing into a new concept without addressing things like food safety can cost more than a fine. It can cost your entire business. Before expanding, ask, do we have the right space systems and food safety protocols in place? A single food safety incident can destroy customer trust faster than any financial loss. And it also can lead to financial loss. So this week, I want you to take a critical look at your own operation or your potential operations if you're in the planning stage, and walk through your kitchen or draw it on paper to scale and ask yourself, does my process work in this space? Do I have enough room for safe storage, prep, and service? Is my workflow efficient and safe? Write down any red flags you notice and start brainstorming those solutions. If you're not sure where to start, schedule a coaching call with me, or you can even purchase my Food Business Plan workbook. I'd love to help you address these challenges. And if you're looking for more information about coaching calls, the book, or you want more information about starting a business, we are offering a mini food guide, Building a Successful Food Business, a practical guide for aspiring food entrepreneurs as a free download. It includes a helpful checklist to get you started on the right path. So check our description for the link. Now remember, food safety isn't about being perfect. It's about being proactive. Spotting red flags early can save you from big headaches down the road. Now, take a deep breath in and release any panic. You are in control. As leaders, we don't react to problems, we anticipate them. Accept the responsibility that comes with power and move forward with confidence. Repeat after me. I am a leader. I am responsible. I do not panic, I prepare. I don't wait for problems, I prevent them. I protect my business, my team, and my customers because food safety starts with me. Let me know what you thought of this week's episode by liking and posting in the comments. And guess what? I'll see you next Monday.